Well, Jon Jones just officially ducked Tom Aspinall. It is set in stone. I think we all knew that Jon Jones was not going to fight Tom Aspinall. Despite Tom Aspinall being the clear #1 contender, I mean, literally beating Sergey Pavlovich, as well as Curtis Blades, both in the first round. I mean, Tom Aspinall is more of the heavyweight champion than I think Jon will ever be. But I do think that this is going to absolutely destroy Jon Jones's legacy, right? Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people say there's always going to be someone that someone doesn't fight. For Khabib, right? Yes, he didn't fight Charles Oliveira. He didn't fight Michael Chandler. But there's a big difference between a contender that you don't fight and literally another champion in your division. I mean, if Jon Jones retires after he fights Stipe, he will literally be retiring as a disputed champion. Like, there's another person with the belt who has an equal or even higher claim at owning that belt. That is a massive stain in Jon Jones' legacy, and he's gonna have to deal with that. But let's compare the two resumes, right? We already talked about Tom Aspinall, but let's look at Jon Jones. Yes, he fought Cyril Gane, and he is predominantly a striker, but I still think it was impressive. His first fight to heavyweight and did it that fast. I think he deserves some sort of credit, even though people don't give him it. But then you get to Stipe Miocic, who has not fought in a very long time, who's coming off of a brutal knockout, and yes, I think is the heavyweight GOAT, but he is not the heavyweight GOAT anymore. Like, that was a long time ago. By that logic, Jake Paul is going to be one of the best boxers alive when he beats Mike Tyson. And I have immense respect for Stipe. I love, of course, that he's like a firefighter. I love his background. I love his fighting. And I think prime for prime, I think Stipe could actually beat Jon. However, he's just spent too much time away. He's too old, especially when you consider that Jon Jones has fought older people when he was younger with a bigger age gap than Tom Aspinall has against him. And we're talking about Tom Aspinall, who's like around that age, around 31, 32, 33, and Jon Jones like 36 or something. But it's extremely hypocritical. And he's not even looked as a legit heavyweight champ now. Imagine when he retires. But the card did get announced. Obviously, the main event is Jon Jones and Stipe, and the co-main event, we already talked about this in another video, but Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira. And we got this other fight that was announced. I mean, Paul Craig, Bo Nickel. I mean, I guess that's all right, but I thought that this card was pretty mid overall, especially when you compare it to past MSG cards. And I'm a guy that usually goes to the New York cards, right? And I might go to this, I'm not so sure, but I'm just disappointed at the card so far. I hope they add a little bit more fights. I hope that's not the final main card. And look, do I think that Jon Jones is going to retire at MSG? I absolutely do. I don't think he's going to fight Tom Aspinall, because I think even Jon Jones knows that Tom Aspinall is just a terrible stylistic matchup. As I've said before, Jon Jones's weakness is the boxing. Look at Dominic Reyes. He tagged him with the boxing. If you get Jon Jones in boxing range, that he has problems with. Daniel Cormier even gave him problems in boxing. And Tom Aspinall has fast hands, plus he's a heavyweight. He's going to be strong enough to defend those takedowns, and he's competent on the ground that he's not going to get submitted. I honestly think if he fights Jon Jones, he beats him in a round. I said it, guys. I know it sounds crazy, but I just think he's that good of a stylistic matchup against Jon. And at this point, I mean, the heat between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones has gotten so insane. I would be surprised if they don't fight at some point, because, wow, I just feel like this is just so much tension that we're never going to see a conclusion for. Like, Jon Jones is really going to retire like this. I've talked about it before, but even Dana White, I think, is adding pressure by playing at Jon's ego, saying, oh no, he'll definitely fight Tom Aspinall. He's not going to leave that fight. But I think he might actually. Tom Aspinall also literally just confirmed that he is down to be the backup opponent in November.
I, of course, have told the UFC, if anybody gets injured or there's any other reason why nobody can make it to that fight, why one of them might pull out, I'm ready to go. If I need to, I'll fight both of them the same night, no problem.
There's literally no excuse for Jon Jones, because Tom's even willing to do it without a training camp. And as far as the Stipe fight goes, I do think that Jon Jones is going to beat Stipe, and no disrespect to Stipe, I think if he was in his prime, I think he would have beat Jon, because they're the same height, and Stipe hits decently hard and also has the wrestling to back it up. I think he would have made it a boxing match, pressing Jon Jones backwards and found a knockout maybe in the second or third round. And look, I'm not the type of guy to just shit on Jon Jones, right? He's the GOAT in my eyes, right? Of course, if you're excluding, you know, PED use and things like that, I think he's the GOAT. Resume, skills, and all that. And he's also one of my favorite fighters to analyze. And even when he fought Cyril Gane, I gave Jon Jones a lot of support when people were saying Cyril Gane was going to beat Jon Jones. Yes, check the comments in that video. People did think that. People were calling me crazy, but I thought Jon would win there. So I'm not just some hater hopping online, you know, just looking to shit on Jon Jones. This is coming from a guy that has given him the benefit of the doubt, who has supported this guy and defended him. Jon Jones, I don't think stands a chance here. I don't think he's going to fight Tom Aspinall, and I don't even think he's taking Stipe seriously. I mean, be careful, because Jon Jones is in Vegas right now. We just saw him partying with Merab and Aljamain Sterling after UFC 306. So yeah, I think he is going to retire, and I don't think he's going to fight Tom Aspinall, and I think this is going to leave a big stain on his record. Leave a like if you guys agreed, and check out my last video where I talked about the co-main event, Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler, and Conor McGregor's reaction. Also made a video reacting to UFC 306, that card, and some of my mixed thoughts about that. I know a lot of you guys said I overhated, but hey, that was my opinion. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.